Good morning and welcome to KidNuz, sponsored today by Bamboo Learning. I'm Tori. Today is Thursday, November 19th, 2020. And we begin with news from both ends of the coronavirus spectrum. On the one hand, pre-Thanksgiving cases are surging. Schools are backpedaling to remote, and health experts are doubling down on their mask up messages. On the other, what could be a game changer in the testing department, and even more good news on the vaccine front. Yesterday, Pfizer one-upped its competitor Moderna by saying its two-dose shot actually works 95% of the time, up from 90%. Plus, it's especially effective for seniors and produced no serious side effects. Also announced, FDA approval of the first at-home do-it-yourself COVID test. It requires a doctor's prescription, but gives results in just 30 minutes. The biggest issue now, just like with the vaccines, is producing enough, quickly enough, to get it in the hands of all who need it. Effective today, New York City, the nation's largest school district, is among those shutting down its in-person learning. And in another sign of pandemic times, shoppers are again emptying store shelves of toilet paper, paper towels, and disinfectant. You may remember back in March, news of the coronavirus set off panic shopping, along with stockpiling of flour, pasta, and bars of soap. In response to the latest binge buying, some supermarket chains are once again limiting purchases on in-demand items. Even Amazon is reportedly sold out of most paper towels and wipes. But most retailers say they've got a better handle on things during the second wave and don't expect the shortages to last. It's an understatement that for kids around the world, 2020 has been filled with its share of disappointments. But thanks to one dedicated group, a beloved holiday tradition will go on. For the past 65 years, on Christmas Eve, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, which is responsible for monitoring North America's skies, tracks Santa's flight on his annual trek across the globe. Normally, about 150 employees and volunteers answer calls from the more than 100,000 kids who want to know when St. Nick will reach their town. For safety purposes this year, staff size will be limited, so some callers will get a recorded update. However, NORAD will also be live tracking Santa's progress on its website, in addition to a new mobile app. Some say you can't put a price on friendship, but if you could, how does $1 million sound? These days, Hollywood celebrity George Clooney is married and a father to 3-year-old twins. But back in 2013, he says his 14 best friends were his whole world. So after making an unexpected windfall from starring in the space drama Gravity, he decided to gift his friends $1 million each in cash. In the latest issue of GQ magazine, he explains that he drove an old florist's van to a warehouse in Burbank, California, where he picked up the moolah and stuffed it into 14 suitcases. Then he gathered his buddies, held up a map, and talked about all the places he'd been in the world thanks to them before springing his surprise. According to Clooney, these are friends who had supported him for 35 years, even loaning him money when he was broke. And since they were in his will anyway, he thought, why wait to share his success? A pregnant pig with her own YouTube feed has her #1 fan to thank for saving her bacon. Ethel, a portly white porker with black spots and pink ears, lives high on the hog at June Farms in upstate New York. She also has a camera on her 24/7 as she waits to give birth. But one chilly night a few weeks ago, Ethel accidentally kicked a heat lamp into the hay, setting her pen on fire. 100 miles away, an Ethel fan was watching in real time. Laura Palladino made frantic calls to the farm, police, and local fire departments, all without answer. She finally reached the farmer in charge, who'd raised Ethel from a piglet. Laura then watched in relief as he burst into view, put out the fire, and found Ethel no worse for wear. As a show of thanks, Ethel's firstborn will be named Laura. That's it for KidNuz. Don't forget, it really helps if you rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. And you can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Now, our KidNuz quiz. Profits from what movie supplied actor George Clooney with an unexpected cash bonanza? A space drama called Gravity. What's the name of the pregnant pig that survived a close call? Ethel. What did the FDA just approve? A do-it-yourself COVID test. What does NORAD track every year on Christmas Eve? Santa's flight path around the world. In One for the Road. It's too late for the Great Pumpkin, but just in time for fans of A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving and A Charlie Brown Christmas, Apple TV, which now owns the rights to all things Peanuts, was hit with online petitions demanding the streaming service put the holiday specials back on network TV. Well, it just did. Bowing to the backlash, Apple struck a deal with PBS and will allow the airing of both ad-free on November 22nd and December 13th, respectively. The Charlie Brown TV specials date back to 1965 and were the masterpiece of cartoonist Charles Schulz, who, fun fact, originally wanted to name Snoopy Sniffy. For more on the life and creativity of Charles Schulz, just say, Alexa, open Bamboo Luminaries. Before we go, it's time to turn it over to Kim for today's KidNuz Shoutouts.
Thanks, Tori. First, we salute our teachers, Mrs. Spagnoli at Dujardin in Bloomingdale, Illinois, Ms. Fuller at West Royalty School on Prince Edward Island in Canada, Mr. DeWild at Spirit Lake in Spirit Lake, Iowa, and Mrs. Riedel at Cumberland in Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin. And we send birthday wishes to Tanae in Charlottesville, Virginia, Dalton and Braden in Collierville, Tennessee, Hannah in Troy, Missouri, David in Chatham, New Jersey, Will in Frankfort, Michigan, Hazel in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, Samantha in Jacksonville, Florida, Tanae in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, Allura in Happy Valley, Oregon, Aislinn in Port Orchard, Washington, in California, Nora in Los Altos and Margot in San Diego, and in Texas, Catherine in Austin, Calvin in North Richland Hills, Sullivan in Coppell, Ethan in San Antonio, and Kelsey in Mathis. Thanks for listening, everyone. We hope you tune in for more Kid News tomorrow morning.